you looking for ways to monetize your YouTube channel beyond AdSense? In this interview, I chat with Kassandra, who has a YouTube channel, Yoga with Kassandra. And what we talk about is how she's able to monetize her channel without AdSense. She gives a bunch of different ideas on how she monetizes, what she does, so she doesn't have to rely on YouTube AdSense for her sole source of income. So if that sounds of interest to you, then stay tuned for the interview. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. My YouTube channel is all about peeling back the curtains to reveal what it really takes to be successful on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the amazing interviews with successful YouTube creators that I have coming your way. Mwah. Well, hello, Kassandra. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I'm excited to have you on and to talk about your yoga channel. So your whole YouTube channel is all about yoga. You teach yoga, you have yoga lessons, yoga classes. So why don't we just kind of really briefly share with our listeners and our viewers what inspired you to get onto YouTube, when you got onto YouTube, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure. So I think my first video was April 2014. So I'm coming up on like 6 years now, which is a little bit crazy, but I just was doing it for fun. I had no big dreams of, like, I never thought I would have like a big YouTube channel. I just was a newly certified yoga instructor, and I was looking for more opportunities to do what I love and to teach and to, share my passion. As any like yoga teacher will know, it's really hard to get your first few jobs when you're just certified. You need experience. So I wanted to do more than what I was able to do here in Ottawa, Canada, where I live. So I just thought, wouldn't it be fun to film a few videos, have them on YouTube? And I thought having YouTube videos would just help me get studio jobs. I hadn't even considered the fact that online was its own avenue and its own field of work. I kind of just stumbled into it, and after about 6 months of YouTube, I started to look around and see, wow, people are actually making careers out of this online. You can actually do this full time. So then I started to devote myself a little bit more and explore the world of, online marketing and online yoga and fitness and digital media content. And that's kind of how it went, but it was completely by accident. And it's a little surreal to be on a podcast or, to be interviewed for my YouTube channel, just because that's so not what I thought I would end up doing 6 years ago. So it's pretty cool.
That is crazy, because that's the beauty of YouTube, is the fact that you could take something where you think maybe yoga, where you're like, I don't know if there's a lot of opportunity where I live locally, and bring it online. So take me back. What was your first YouTube video? If you can remember your first couple of YouTube videos, how was that experience uploading back then?
It was a very humbling setup, very humble beginnings. I was filming, I think probably this room that I'm in here right now. And I didn't have equipment. So I was using my cell phone, and I was taping it against the wall so that it would stay in place.
Taping your phone?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Propping it up against yoga blocks, And every 10 minutes or so, I think my phone could only record for about 10 minutes at a time. So I kept having to step off the mat, press pause, re-record, go back to my mat, film some more. And I didn't have any microphone or anything like that. So I was just doing voiceovers. But I think I just did a 30-minute power class or a core yoga class. It was my own personal practice. And then I started to teach yin yoga, which is what I would say I'm probably the most known for. And it's something that I brought to YouTube where there wasn't that much of it before I started offering it. So that kind of helped me out a lot, especially in the beginning. But it was very humble, very, very, DIY setup. And I just kind of made it work, because I knew nothing about filming, editing, marketing. It was super foreign territory. I studied social work and psychology and linguistics. So I knew nothing about it. So I just kind of had to learn as I go, and made the most of it.
Yeah. And so how was the response to that? Did you immediately get views? Did you care about that? How did that go for you?
I mean, I'll always remember getting my first 100 subscribers. I thought that was unreal. Like, I just thought, I don't know, I thought it was huge. But I mean, I started like everyone. I started at zero. I mean, I guess not everyone, but for me, YouTube was kind of like the first social media platform that I tackled. So it's not like I was known already through other platforms. It's not like I had an audience that I could send to my YouTube channel in order to help blow it up. I was starting, no one knew my name. Like, I was 23, like I had nothing, you know what I mean? Like, even locally, I wasn't known at all because I was just starting off. I didn't have any social media presence. I didn't even have, I don't even think I had a website at that point or an email list. So I really just started at zero, and it was a slow, steady process. Like, I've never really had that like big overnight thing, you know, like I have one video that's done really well. But that's like years into doing this YouTube stuff. For the first 3.5 years, it was just a very steady and slow process where every month was better than the previous month, but it was not a dramatic increase at any point. So I just kind of kept at it. And I think a lot of people would have given up. And I see a lot of other yoga teachers who want to do what I do, and they give up because I think they're just expecting big numbers and quick results. And they look to other channels who have been able to get quick results, but that's never been my experience. And I think that's a blessing because I don't have that expectation on myself that, you know, whatever I do right away is going to be successful. Like I knew it was going to be a long game, and I was fine with that. And also I enjoyed it. So I kind of, at first I didn't really care too much about the numbers because I just genuinely love making YouTube videos. I love being in front of the camera. I love like connecting with people from all over the world. Like I've said this many times, but if I stopped, like if something happened with YouTube and you could no longer monetize your channel and I could no longer make money for it, I would still be on it all the time making videos because it's what I love to do. So I think if the passion isn't there, like just don't bother with it. Like don't go into it. It's not going to be worth it for you. You're not going to have a good time.
Definitely. So for you, because like you said, and I think this is interesting, something to point out, because yours is a yoga channel. It's not like you're out there chasing trends and trying to get that viral video. Granted, like you said, videos can hit. There's a possibility that you have that, but it's a type of channel where it's very need-based and it's very niche and it's not going to be going on trends. So it is unrealistic in a sense to expect to blow up this yoga channel. I mean, sometimes it does, but for you, it sounded like it was a very steady type of growth. So what kept you going? Like you said, was it a slow build? Were you getting reaction from people? Were you getting other types of opportunities? But what kept you going video after video after video without seeing that crazy growth on YouTube?
I mean, I wasn't seeing crazy growth on YouTube, but like I think when people are trying to go online, they're focusing too much on resources, and it's all about like resourcefulness. So even though, you know, it took a while before I started to earn income from YouTube directly, I was indirectly making a lot of income from YouTube because even though I had a very small amount of subscribers, like, you know, 1,000 or 5,000 subscribers or something like that, I was still making a decent income because though I started right away putting together online programs. For a while, I was doing like custom classes where I would make people could pay like a premium price to get custom videos from me with their requests. So like I very quickly learned how to monetize even my small audience. So I think that's like people maybe just need to be a little bit more resourceful. Like stop looking to YouTube as if YouTube is going to be your big ticket item that earns you your income and that does everything you want it to do. Like YouTube, I always saw it as like a point of leverage because again, going into it, I never had the goal for myself to like have the biggest yoga YouTube channel and to make a certain amount of money on YouTube. Like that wasn't what I was doing. I just thought I'll use my presence on YouTube to leverage better teaching opportunities. Maybe I'll be able to start offering retreats and trainings all over the world. And then I started to realize like, oh, okay, like even if it's a small audience, this small audience does care about me. They really do enjoy what I'm doing and they want more of it. So I can start to put together some paid programs and courses. I made like DVDs back in the day. Like I did whatever it took to kind of grow my online business. So I never saw it as like a YouTube business. I've never called myself a YouTuber. Like I own a digital media company. It just happens to take place on YouTube, but YouTube was never the sole focus of what I did. And I never relied on YouTube to fulfill all my needs. You got to be a little bit more creative in the beginning, especially if you don't have the big numbers right off the bat.
I think that's such a good lesson because so many people are so focused on the growth, on the growth, on the growth. Like I'm not getting new subscribers. And it sounds like your focus really was on the business side of things. Like I'm not going to focus directly on AdSense or rely on that for my income. Because we all know too, when it comes to YouTube, the only constant is change and the algorithm changes and AdSense changes. I mean, look what's happening to kids' channels. I mean, there's things that can affect that AdSense. So you have to take it upon yourself to, like you said, leverage this audience that you have, even if it's not a huge audience, and do something with it. Give them more of what they want in a way that fulfills you as well financially, so that you're generating an income. You can continue putting out this free content, but you're also giving people even more. Like you said, I love the idea of something customized, right? A lot of people want something catered to themselves, or they want something even more in depth than what you're giving on YouTube. And I think that's so smart that you came up with that. At what point did you realize this with YouTube, or did you know this all along that you were just going to use YouTube as a tool to a means to an end, as a tool to create a digital company, or did you figure it out later on?
I figured it out pretty quickly. Like I knew that I didn't want like all of my eggs in the YouTube basket. Like I knew that it wasn't smart for me to rely on an outside platform that I truly have no control over to fulfill all of my needs. I mean, I have no control over whether or not YouTube decides to shut down my channel tomorrow, and I was always really, really aware of that. And I didn't want to rely on YouTube for my success, So very, very early on, I started to look at ways to diversify my income, be less reliant on YouTube, and to just use it as like a funnel. Like this is how people are going to find me. They're going to find me through my YouTube channel. But I don't want them to stay on my YouTube channel. I want them to now go on my mailing list. I want them to purchase my premium programs. I want them to follow me on other social media platforms. I want them to, back in the day, like purchase my DVD or my custom classes. Like I don't do that anymore. But really right away, I started to think like, okay, YouTube is great. There's potential here, but I don't own YouTube. YouTube has the power in this relationship and this dynamics. So I need to take care of myself and protect myself as best as I can. And that means, okay, great, find me on YouTube, but then what? Like, then I want them, that's why like lead generation is so important and capturing emails. Cause like you don't own Instagram, you don't own YouTube, you don't own Facebook. If those platforms go away, this huge following that you've built, they're going to go away too, but the emails, you have those emails, like the people in your paid programs, you have that, like, this is a connection that you own. Like, this is, I don't know. I just I'm all about empowerment, and I just wanted to empower myself to take control of the situation and not to look at other platforms and other people to give me what I need. I really wanted to be self-reliant as much as possible.
That's great. Yeah.
Just a note, because I had no idea how to do any of this when I was first starting out, I just looked at what other people are doing, like people in my industry who are doing really well. I didn't look at the top YouTubers. I looked at the top yoga teachers who have a strong online presence. And I noticed that, yes, they have YouTube channels, but more importantly, they have a bunch of other revenue streams. So I knew that that's what I wanted to replicate.
I think that's great. So for the audience listening or watching that possibly has some kind of fitness channel, or their personal trainer or their yogi, or even somebody who has a business, right? And they're thinking like, how do I get people to sign up for my email list, or how do I get people to kind of buy into what I'm selling? What would you suggest to them as, say, first couple steps?
I would say to leverage the free content that you already have and package it into a nice free offer that can be used for lead generation. So for a long time, my formula has been the same because it just works for me, is I do 7-day yoga challenges using content that I already have on YouTube. So not only, it's kind of like, like the two birds, one stone approach, where it's like I'm driving traffic to my YouTube videos, which is of course beneficial for my channel, but I'm also at the same time capturing emails, getting them on my mailing list so that I can then nurture the relationship and let people know, those that want to work deeper with me, here are the ways that they can do this. I have, an online yin yoga teacher training. I have my book. I have all these offers. So that's what I would do. I mean, that's the strategy I've always used. Leverage what you already have that is free and accessible, and then package it up into a really wonderful free offer that allows this audience to get to know you as a teacher, as a health and wellness professional. And that also allows you to leverage and promote your other paid or premium products and services.
I think that's fantastic. So could you take us through your lead gen opt-in right now? Like if somebody comes to one of your videos, they're brand new, they watch a yoga video, take us through that process of a new viewer, opting in and going through that funnel.
Yeah, I mean, my funnels are mainly driven through Facebook ads. So that's my main focus, but I do use YouTube a little bit, but I find it's not quite as good to send people from YouTube to my mailing list. It's easier if I send paid traffic from my Facebook ads directly to the lead generation. But even today, if people go and see any of my YouTube videos, they'll notice that the first link that they see, which is like above the fold, like before you click on show more in the description, I have the pitch for try my 7-day free yin yoga challenge, and that sends them to the lead generation, like the mailing list opt-in, and takes them through that 7-day challenge. And that's an opportunity for me to promote my app and other kinds of things, and to also just kind of segment the subscriber. And then I also nurture and build that list by promoting that 7-day free challenge via Facebook ads, which I found to be just like the number one tool for me.
Yeah, because that is a really interesting point. Because the thing is that with YouTube is you don't necessarily want to get people off of YouTube. You want them watching more videos and more videos, and that helps your numbers, the algorithm, and all that. At what point did you discover that? Were you initially sending people off to an email list from your videos, or were you always using ads from the get-go when you were starting to kind of build your business up?
I started with ads pretty quickly. I'd say maybe a year into starting my YouTube channel. And over the last 3 years, it's really something that I've invested time and money and really my own personal education of how to use Facebook ads to grow my business as a whole. But I kind of just stopped pushing it via YouTube, kind of for the reasons you said. If they're on your YouTube channel, you kind of just want to keep them there. Let them enjoy the rest of your content. And I also found that, I was using different tracking links for the lead generation opt-in. And I found that the amount of traffic of people who actually click on that free offer is pretty low. So it's not worth it for me to invest a whole bunch of time into trying to grow that. I'd rather just keep them on the channel. If some people see the link and they click on it, that's great. But, I can just put a little bit of money into the Facebook ads and promote it another way, or promote it via Instagram or Facebook, leveraging the other social media platforms. And just, keep YouTube as a YouTube channel and hope that people watch multiple videos and come back to it.
Yeah. So where do you see then your YouTube playing the part in the whole grand scheme of things? Because if you do have your Facebook ads, and that's how you're generating a lot of new traffic to your business. In a way, then YouTube is really for the content. Are you retargeting some of these people that watch your YouTube with the ads, so then they're kind of getting more familiar with you through the YouTube? Or then where does your YouTube kind of fit in with the whole thing if it's really not generating the leads to your business?
I mean, it definitely is still generating leads to the business in one way or another. Maybe not directly from YouTube to my mailing list, but often it'll be from YouTube to my Facebook group or YouTube to my Instagram page and YouTube to my website. And then they end up kind of part of the community in that way. But YouTube, just because of its size of my channel right now, it is my biggest funnel. So it's like, it is kind of the number one way that people will discover me, even though, you know, I do put a good ad on Facebook. It's still not as large as like the amount of new people that are able to find me through my YouTube channel, especially now that it's, you know, like grown in size quite a bit. So I do get a lot of traffic from YouTube, and, you know, they do end up kind of on my list or in my community in some way or another. But so I kind of just have both.
Got it. And the thing is, too, if people discover you through your ads, I'm sure, you know, somewhere along the funnel or within that, you kind of direct them to your YouTube channel also to enjoy your content and get to know you
it's the first
even
thing.
more. Yeah. So they have the opportunity to get to know Kassandra, your content, and whether or not they buy something in that moment, like you said, they're part of your community. And then maybe down the line, they'll, you know, buy one of your programs, or maybe they'll end up doing the challenge somehow, or just, it's interesting the way I kind of imagine social media. And when you have, because, you know, I have a digital course online, and same thing, I have a digital business, but it's kind of like you almost like want to, you don't always know how people find you. You have these different platforms, but somehow they end up part of your community, whether they're, you know, watching your videos or following you on Instagram. They had already paid for the course, and now they're, you know, part of that or part of the free Facebook group. It's kind of like this whole, like, kind of, you're trying to like blanket things, capture like a net where you're capturing people. And then once they're in, they've got stuff to do, like watch your YouTube, watch your Instagram, or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so why don't you talk to us about a little bit of the growth of your channel? Because granted, you've been on for 6 years and it's been pretty consistent, but you do have over 400,000 subscribers. So there has to be some kind of driving factor there, some growth or something that happened. I know you mentioned before offline that you did have a video that kind of went viral without you even trying or expecting it. So why don't you walk us through that and that experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are maybe like 3 things I would say that helped the growth of my channel. Like the first one is I've never missed a posting date. Like I set a schedule and I stuck to it for the last 6 years, you know, like people knew once a week, every Thursday, I would have new content. And I know for a fact, like analytics will tell me this absolutely helped my traffic grow, and it kept the momentum that I had going. The other good thing to me is that I set myself apart, I think, early on. So I did a lot of yin yoga classes, and 14, there weren't that many yin yoga videos. So that style of yoga was very prevalent online on YouTube. So I was kind of like one of the first ones to start offering it on a regular basis. And this helped me a lot because it, you know, got me discovered by people who love yin yoga. So it was a great way for me to like capture a new, different kind of audience, and set me apart from other yoga channels. Because I think at first one thing I did wrong is that I tried to do everything. So I tried to teach all styles of yoga for all populations, all levels, because I thought that was the way to like grow my audience. And the opposite is true. The more I'm able to narrow in and focus, the more I'm able to really connect with the people who I'm meant to be serving, who I'm the best teacher for, and they're the right student for me. So that helped my growth quite a bit to say like, I'm a yin yoga teacher and I'm a vinyasa teacher. Those are the only 2 things that you'll find on my channel. And then the third thing, like you mentioned, like I've never had like a viral video where like overnight something just like blew up. Like I wish, I'm still hoping maybe I'll get to experience that one day. But I do have one video that has way more views than all of my other videos. So the way I was doing it before is I would rent the studio 1 day a month and I would just film all day, and that was enough content for, you know, the next 4 or 5 weeks or so. And I had finished all my filming for that day and I was going to wrap up, but I noticed like I still have some studio time. Like I had finished earlier than anticipated. So I thought, oh, I'll just film like a little 10-minute morning yoga class. So I hadn't even planned that video. Like there was nothing written. It was totally off the cuff. And I just kind of improvised this 10-minute yoga class, whatever. And I put it up on YouTube and it was fine. Like it was okay. It did okay. It didn't do great, but maybe like 6 months or 7 or 8 months after that video was on YouTube, all of a sudden it did start to get traction. So it just kind of more and more people started to follow it. And then, you know, the thing with like momentum is it builds on itself, you know? So once you get that little peak, it's easy to grow and grow and grow. So other sites started to pick it up. People started to share the video. So all of a sudden that 10-minute morning yoga class, like I think as of today, it's at 6 million views, which is like wild. It's like my videos don't normally have that amount of views. I think I only have like maybe 3 or 4 other videos that have reached the 1 million mark, but otherwise like they're much lower than that. So yeah, that video started to do really well, but it's very funny to me because it's not the content that I create. Sometimes I'll create a class and I'm like, this is the best video I've ever made. I can't wait to share this.
Yeah.
This video is going to do so well. People are going to love it and no one cares. Like, you know, like it's underwhelming response. And I'm like, man, I can't believe that. And then the videos that I think are just okay do really well. So you can try to predict as best as you can, but you honestly don't really know how things are going to be received. And you don't, you know, it's kind of like you mentioned, YouTube is a fickle thing and the algorithm is changing and sometimes it's in your favor and sometimes not so much. So for me, it worked out with that 10-minute morning yoga class. And now I've kind of made the most of that by creating a lot of other 10-minute morning yoga videos that can kind of, like hitch its wagon onto that really popular video. And that's helped my channel a lot to focus on that kind of content. But yeah, it's very strange how that works out.
I think that's really smart that you piggybacked off of that one viral video, because that's the thing. And you mentioned that word earlier, and I want to kind of point that out again, is momentum. Like momentum is such a powerful thing. It's like things are aligning and everything's in your favor. And when you have momentum, you have to capitalize on it, especially when it comes to YouTube, because, I have a YouTube course. I coach, women on their YouTube channels, and I see it. It's things similar to that. It'll be a few months later and it's like stars align and a video starts to take off, and you have to pay attention to that. You have to piggyback off of that, because that momentum is so powerful, and it doesn't come around all the time. Like this is your chance to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So other than creating 10-minute, similar 10-minute type videos, was there anything else that you did to kind of capitalize on that momentum or piggyback off of that video?
Well, not necessarily for that video, but I think one thing I'm now doing differently, and this was a mistake I was doing early on when I started my YouTube channel, is I thought that the way to gain traffic, to stay relevant, and to grow was to have varied content. So let's say, for example, if I had already done a core yoga class, I didn't want to duplicate and create another one because I thought it was going to take traffic away from that first video.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, duh, like do the opposite.
Yeah, do the same thing. Yep.
Do the same thing over and over again, But I thought, I just thought like my audience wouldn't like that. And they'd think like, oh no, you already did that. Like be more creative, Like I thought it was like a sign of like a lack of creativity or something. I don't know. I just thought it was the way to do it because I was looking at, what other channels were doing and they always seem to keep it varied. And I was like, that's stupid. Like, I'm not going to do that anymore. Yeah. Like, I'm just going to, whatever is working, I'm going to do more of that. And the lesson here, because I've shared this with other health and wellness professionals who want to do this, is they're going to look at what like I'm doing and what's doing well, and they're going to try to copy that. But like, I don't want that to be the lesson that people take from this. The lesson is whatever you are doing well, do more of that, you know, because just because my 10-minute morning yoga video is doing well does not mean your 10-minute morning video is going to do well, because you might be more known for something else. So for me, like for a long time, I noticed that there was a discrepancy between the comments and emails of requests I would get for students and the data. So the emails, the messages, the comments all said, we want long classes, 45, 60, 90-minute classes. However, when I looked at my YouTube analytics, my most popular videos are not 60, 45, 60, 90 minutes. And when I did longer videos, they would kind of tank my channel. Like I would lose subscribers. It wouldn't get a lot of momentum. Whereas when I created different kinds of content based around the data, then it would grow. So I just found that, like, yes, you need to listen to what your audience is requesting, and it's really good to like keep the pulse on that and to stay relevant. But don't forget about the actual data, the actual numbers. Like, this is telling you what people are searching for on YouTube, what they want, what they will actually watch from you. So now I have a good balance of, you know, yes, having longer content for these like loyal subscribers who've been with me for the long run, but I make sure to balance it with what the wide pool of YouTube viewers are searching for and looking for. Yeah, so that's what I would say about that.
I think that's really, really great. I mean, I love what you said about don't do what I do well, do what you do well. I think that's such an important idea. And it's something that it seems like it makes common sense, but so many people look at other YouTubers like, oh, they're doing that, I'll do it like that. And the beauty of YouTube and why people come to YouTube is they're coming to watch people be truly authentically themselves. And the second you start like looking to others to figure out what you want to do, that's when you're not tapping into your own true genius and whatever that is, your zone of genius, and you get distracted by what everybody else is doing. So I think that's a wonderful thing that you stated. So is that how you figured it out, that, oh, I should be doing more of the same thing versus like switching it up? Did you figure out by looking at your data, or how did you kind of come to that conclusion? Because you're exactly right. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. That's exactly what YouTube wants. If you have one video that goes viral and it's about, whatever, the what is it, yin yoga? What is that?
Yin yoga, yeah.
Yin yoga, yin yoga for legs. I'm just making this up. Then it's like, okay, then you want to do more yin yoga legs videos, right? You don't want to then do other types of yoga. I can't even think of other types, but you know what I'm saying. I'm not super well versed. You don't want to go like the other thing, like you said, because, now my audience wants something different, something creative. So how did you figure that out, that you kind of want to do the same thing over and go over and kind of until that kind of dies out, and then you maybe try something else?
I mean, I truly feel like I was late in learning that. Like, I think if I were to redo this whole thing over again, I'd be much smarter upfront about it, to start observing and looking at the data right away. So fortunately, I was kind of doing that because I realized, okay, yin yoga is something that helps me stand apart from all these other yoga YouTubers. There's not a lot of it. It's very well received. It's helping to grow my channel. So style-wise, I did piggyback and I created a lot of yin yoga content. But what I wasn't doing is, okay, within this yin yoga pool, which video is the most popular? Why? Can I make more of those? So I definitely could have gone, like, I could have drilled it down even further. But you don't know what you don't know. And then it wasn't until, those like 10-minute videos and a few like flexibility videos that I started to see, okay, even though I've already made similar videos to these a few years back, people still want more, and I don't know why it took me so long to kind of learn that lesson, but thankfully I'm here today. I've learned the lesson, and now it really guides my strategy going forward. So 2020, like, I'm changing. For the past 5 years, I've done videos once a week, Thursdays, and now I'm going to twice a week, and that's the set schedule. It's every Monday and every Thursday, so that I can hit both of those audiences and targets, and really, like, because now I have momentum, I'm leveraging it. And like you said, like, momentum isn't going to last forever. Like strike while the iron's hot, like go for it, So like now I want to make sure that every week I have one of those 10-minute videos or as close as I can, and that I have a good amount of yin yoga videos, that I have a good balance of short and long, like those two, because I really do have like, my audience is very much split into two camps. And I want to make sure that I have 2 videos a week, one for each camp, so that I'm maximizing my ability to grow my channel and to also give people what they want. These people who've been supporting me for so long and who like really genuinely care about what I do and what I put out in the world. Like I want to, like 2020 is my year to serve people as best as I possibly can by really upping my game. But yeah, I was late to learning it.
So what are the 2 different types of videos that you're going to do every single week? Like what are those 2 camps?
It changes, but it's very much like one quick bite-sized video, 5 to 15 minutes long, and the other one is the longer full-length yoga class, 30 to 45 minutes long. Those are the ones that do really well on my channel. So it's about making sure that I have an even distribution of those.
Got it. Well, that's great. That's super. I'm sure I could see that taking off really well too, because that's the thing. You really know your audience after 6 years. You know what they want, and you're able to give the people what they want. That's ultimately what it comes down to, creating content, right? So going back to your business, and then we're going to wrap it up. What are your different offerings that you have right now? What are your different streams of income and the different things that you offer people who want to do more than just watch your free content?
Sure. So being a yoga teacher, I have 2, also like a different way to segment my audiences. Some of the people who do my videos are students of yoga and they just want to practice more yoga. So for those people, I have offerings like my mobile app, which is probably like the main offering and the main like revenue stream from that pocket of audience. I also have a book that I wrote, like a yin yoga book, which, is another offer. And then I have like one-off online programs, like a 14-day yoga challenge, a premium course, or I have like a 31-day abundance program, things like that. So like individual course sales for that pocket. And then I have another part of my audience who are yoga teachers who do my yoga videos and want to learn from me, yoga teacher to yoga teacher. So I have a higher ticket item that's like a certification, a yin yoga certification program. So it's for people who are already teaching yoga and just want to specialize in this one style. So that's probably like the main revenue stream that I have coming from that audience. And then also like my yin yoga book is also like very much purchased by other teachers who want to learn more about the program. And then overall, where I get like a cross of both of those audiences is through like my in-person like yoga retreats that I do, and in-person trainings. Like that will be, for many people. And the mobile app, like teachers and students alike definitely purchase that program. So it's just a lot of like online courses, different tier of prices, just so I have a good variety there. And I closed it down for this year, but I had like a membership site for women specifically, like a lunar yoga program and just like a bunch of other stuff that I cycle through. Sometimes they're open, sometimes they're not. But that's kind of what it is. And I do like third-party licensing and stuff like that.
Wow, you're busy. Lots of
busy.
Yeah. So last question. I'm assuming that you have some kind of a team, right? You don't do it all by yourself?
Well, this is where it's embarrassing. What? I should probably have a team.
You don't?
I have one person that I've recently brought on to like about full time, but this is a big focus for me this year is to actually hire more people. No, I've been a one-woman show for a long time, which I'm very proud of, but now need to let go of and find the right people. It's not from lack of trying. My assistant, Amy, she's operations manager now, and she's fantastic. She started on part-time with me a few years ago, just doing like copywriting and just like little tasks that I had. And now she's doing more, like email management, copywriting, and content creation on a bigger role. But the big piece now is marketing is what I'm very good at. And it's been hard to find people who could take that on. But it's what I'm doing. It's my main focus this year is to find 1 to 3 other additional people to bring on. I'll hire people sometimes on a contract basis, based around like specific launches, but yeah, I need people.
And so do you do your own video editing? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You do your own video editing. So now with 2 videos a week.
Editing, everything.
Oh, wow. Wow. So, I mean, are you just working nonstop?
I have some very good systems in place. So
that's so important.
I work Monday to Friday. Like I really had to set boundaries for myself, because when you work for yourself, I found that it's really easy to kind of go crazy with it and to always be working.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, when my husband gets home from work, I don't work anymore. Like I put the computer away, it's done. On the weekends, I might do like a few hours, but for the most part, I really do try to like schedule time for myself to decompress. And to step away from the business. And now that I have Amy who's like full time, it's much easier for her to take things on. But I've worked really hard to really like automate and simplify my own process as a whole, so that I'm not, working like 15-hour days every single day. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
But it just means that there's so much more I could be doing, but I can't because I'm still holding on to too much. So it's my biggest struggle. It's been my biggest struggle for the last 2 years, I'd say, and I'm really making it a priority this year. Because I've been doing it myself for so long, I'm going to hold off until I find the right fit, Like I'm not just going to hire anyone. I want the people to be the right fit for me, and the right fit for the company. I don't know. It's hard, when it's like
easier said than done. It's hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely hard.
But I know those people are out there. Like Amy was the perfect candidate for me. She's the perfect one for the company. I know there are others out there who are going to be the perfect fit for Yoga with Kassandra. I just have not found them yet. I'm looking.
Yes.
So we'll see. It's like dating. I'm like, my marketing soulmate is out there somewhere.
Yep, definitely. Well, Kassandra, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing some insight into your YouTube channel and then also your business. I think that's really interesting and really valuable as well for our listeners and our viewers. So for people that want to know more about you, find you, what's the best way for them to check you out?
Sure. I mean, all my offerings are directly on my website. It's just yogawithkassandra.com. Kassandra is with a K and not a C. And then same thing, if they want to try my YouTube videos or anything like that, it's just Yoga with Kassandra. Same for Instagram, same for Facebook. So very simple. And yeah, thank you so much for having me. I love to talk about this stuff. Because I work alone, I don't really get to share. No one really understands what I do. Like my family, my friends, they don't really get my job.
Yeah, definitely.
So I love to talk about it, so I hope it's helpful for some people out there who want to start a YouTube channel in the health and wellness fields.
Definitely. Well, I know it was helpful, and thank you so much, Kassandra. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.